Today, we're going to talk about the war on women. So, I want to say something that sounds backwards at first, so stay with me. Feminism is not the most pro-woman movement of our generation. It's the most anti-woman movement of our generation. And I say that not to be provocative. I say it because I'm a husband. I have a wife I love, and I've watched this ideology do real damage to real women. And I'm done being quiet about it. And here's what feminists told women for the last 6 years. Your body is a burden. Your fertility is a problem to manage. Your femininity is a weakness. Marriage is a trap. Motherhood is optional. And a career, that's where your worth lives. That was the deal. Trading everything uniquely yours for a seat at the table that was designed by men for men on men's terms. And women took the deal. A generation later, we have a mental health crisis among women that is unprecedented. Record rates of anxiety, loneliness, and depression. A generation of women in their 30s grieving the family that they were told they didn't want until it was too late. That's not liberation, that's a con. And here's what's interesting. The Bible had this figured out thousands of years ago. Proverbs 31. Most people know this passage as it's an impossible checklist of a perfect wife. Get up early, run a business, sew the clothes, feed the servants, buy the field. Women hear this and feel exhausted before they even start. But here's what culture never tells you about this woman. The Hebrew word used to describe her, I'll place it here because the pronunciation I can't quite get through without laughing. I'm not Hebrew, so sue me. Is a military word. It means valor. It means strength. It's the same word used for warriors going into battle. God didn't design women to be fragile. He designed them to be fierce. Fierce in love, fierce in devotion, fierce in building something that lasts. Verse 17, she girds herself with strength and makes her arms strong. That's not a woman who was told her femininity was a weakness. That's a woman who was told her femininity was her greatest weapon. And what does she do with her strength? She builds, she provides, she pours into her husband, her children, her community, not because she has to, but because she sees the vision. Feminism told women to be strong like a man. God said, be strong like a woman. And there's nothing on earth more powerful. Now I want to flip this for a second because I write and talk a lot about men, about legacy, and about what it means to lead a family well. When feminism went to war against femininity, it also went to war against masculinity. You can't attack one without attacking the other. They designed it to fit together. And here's what happened to men. When women were told they didn't need men, men believed it. And they stopped becoming the kind of men worth needing. I've talked to young men about having zero vision for marriage, zero vision for fatherhood. They've checked out, playing video games, consuming content, watching porn, and going nowhere. And part of that, not all of it, but part of it, is that culture told them their role was optional. Told them a woman doesn't need a provider, a protector, a leader. So they stopped trying to become one. Proverbs 31:11 says, the heart of her husband trusts in her. The Hebrew word for trust here means to be secured, to be without fear. A man who leads boldly at work, in church, in the world, he's often a man whose home is a safe place, who has a wife who is with him, not competing against him. When you dismantle God's design for women, you don't just hurt women. You produce rudderless men. And rudderless men produce broken families. And broken families produce a broken culture. And we're living in this right now. We call this 2026. Here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Feminism isn't ultimately a war with men. It's a war with God. Because if God designed men and women differently, with different roles, different strengths, with different callings that complement each other, then feminism isn't a social theory. It's a theological statement. It says God got it wrong, and that's exactly what it is. It's the same lie from the garden. Did God really say? Did God really design you this way? Did God really mean that? Surely he meant something more progressive than that. Proverbs 31:30 cuts through all of it. Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but the woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. The foundation of everything is the fear of the Lord, not the fear of culture, not fear of being called old-fashioned, not the fear of missing out on what the world's offering. And let me tell you, it's not offering much. The woman the Bible celebrates the most isn't celebrated for her career. She's celebrated because she feared God, and everything else flowed from that. The vision God has for your family, your generational impact, your legacy, it takes a man and woman operating in their God-given design, running together towards something bigger than both of them. The most countercultural thing you can do today as a woman is embrace what God has actually designed for you, not the watered down, domesticated, passive version of the church sometimes presents, but the full version, the full Proverbs 31 version. Strong, capable, fierce, oriented towards something more eternal. And the most counterculture thing you can do as a man is become the kind of man worth running with. Lead, provide, protect, give your wife something to trust. The two lies of this world are fighting against each other, creating strong women, weak men, and this is reverse. A strong man helps a woman feel safe and secure. A strong woman supports her husband and puts courage into him. Feminism told this generation that those roles were a cage. The truth is they're a calling, and we've abandoned them at our own peril. It's time to come back to the biblical design for masculinity and femininity because it is a blessing.